technology.
Hello. Welcome to another fantastic episode of the least professional podcast on the interwebs. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT no government license, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. We're also protected by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to or inciting imminent lawless producing something. You guys have heard it 100 times. Look, Brandenburg v. Ohio, look it up.
You're super professional.
We are super. I don't even use my notes anymore because I've said that so many times, and today I just blanked because I messed up the first part of the intro. So this is episode 166, and yeah, we got a buddy visiting, the lame pirate Roberts. Yeah, okay, he's lame.
Yes.
So,
I'm willing to bet he still hasn't worked on those lone wolves either.
Shut up.
So lame pirate. You're lame. That's why you're in Colorado, right? Because you're a lame pirate. They threw you off the ocean.
Exactly. That, and because the actor that plays the Dread Pirate Roberts in The Princess Bride blocked me on Twitter.
Oh,
Carrie Elwes blocked you on Twitter.
oh.
Yes, he did.
How did you deserve that one?
It was during the Rittenhouse stuff.
Ah.
And he posted something, because I follow him. He had some good content, but he's an extreme lefty, and I posted just some, facts, and so he blocked me.
Weak sauce.
Yep.
Yep.
So then when Poppins Patches came out with the hat, I jumped on it.
Yep. Hashtag bully blue checks.
Yeah, I thought about
I'm gonna
buying
try
one
going
of the
out and
hats,
coming back in. I think I got it. So I'll actually have regular shit here in a second.
Okay. Should we wait? No, we're not gonna wait. So tell us who you are. Tell us what do you do, where you're at. Give us a 47-second clip. Who are you?
47 seconds.
we have to be different. We can't go 30 seconds. We can't go a minute. 45 is too cliche. So you're down to 27. So you're down to 21 seconds.
You're running out of time, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Former Californian, moved to Colorado for a little extra freedom.
Escapee.
Yes. Which is funny because my license plate in Colorado pretty much says California expatriate on it on 2 of our license plates. I think they did that on purpose.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly.
It's a good way to get shot.
That's there's
I'm just a crappy shit poster on Twitter, and steal memes.
Ex-Californian. You and I have been friends for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Social media friends, yeah.
Social media friends. I think we're pushing 5 years knowing each other.
Has it really been that long?
I think so.
Why? Why are you still around?
Well, when you think about it, Jason, it's been 3.5 since you and I really got acquainted through social media.
It's been a long time. But the plate that you were talking about, there's a couple I follow, a prepper group. They were in Idaho, and they rented a vehicle in Idaho, and it had a California plate.
Oh no.
And they the first place they went to, they got dirty looks and things like that. And then they realized it was because of the plate. And they took a piece of paper and some tape and put it on diagonally next to the license plate. Says it's just a rental. No.
Yeah. We got. We've had a decent time in Colorado since we got here in July, but that was one of the first things we did is worked on getting the license plate changed because Californians do have a horrible name on pretty much every other state.
Yeah.
So
even the NorCal fans, the Northern California, Jefferson.
Yeah.
I follow a bunch of them, and when they moved to Idaho and Western Montana, A couple of them moved to South Dakota that I follow, and they said that they got dirty looks when they first went there. They got dirty looks. They got called names, and once they got the plate changed, attitudes changed, and then they don't tell people that they're from California anymore.
Yeah,
they tell people that they left a blue state, and then moved to the red state or escaped a blue state.
That's a lot safer. I still get dirty looks because of my San Francisco hat that I wear. I wear a San Francisco 49ers flat cap. And so I still get dirty looks for that because we're in Bronco country. So,
I watched the Broncos play this year. I wouldn't wear one of those either. No.
Yeah, I'm not wearing my jersey that I was gonna wear. I was gonna wear the Burrows jersey. I can throw it on, but I figured considering our subject matter for the evening, this felt more.
We had to
more appropriate.
I went with the Stairs in Violet Disgust.
Nice. I need that one.
Yes.
I got community guidelines on this side.
Oh, that's a Poppins.
Community guidelines.
There's the shark with the word we can't say in the first 10 minutes.
And then the back, of course. Save the children.
Yep. I have that one. I have that one up here on my wall. No.
Well, I went with the old standby of probable drone target.
See, I was gonna go with that one, but instead I went with my I pledge allegiance to freedom and justice for all. I figured I'm already inflammatory enough with my T-shirt.
That's a tactical junkie one, right?
That one. Where did I get that one from?
I followed Tactical Junkie on TikTok. They're a fun follow.
I think I got it. I don't honestly remember.
No, it doesn't matter. No. We have one more piece of business before we really get started. We have to wish Declan a happy birthday. Declan, if you don't know, Dirica, our 3/4 part-time-ish other person that started the podcast with me like 5 years ago, her son is kind of our spirit animal in a lot of ways. Declan turned 9 yesterday. So happy birthday, Declan. We love you.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
So, and in spirit of Declan, we're just going to jump into this first article because Declan turned 9, and we have an article about a 9-year-old who got his whole class to protest because school officials pulled chocolate milk from the menu.
How dare you take their chalky milk, you monsters!
That is the straw that breaks the camel's back right there.
The only thing that could have been worse is if they'd have tried to take the chicken nuggies with it.
That rectangle pizza.
I was going to say the pizza.
They're trying to get rid of the processed meat, so they would take chicken nuggies away.
The monsters.
But yes, this is actually across the river from me, in Vacaville. So it's a group of 4th graders led by one of their 9-year-old classmates has learned firsthand the power of protest in the name of chocolate milk. Jordan Reed and his classmates at Sierra Vista K-8 school in Vacaville, California, recently staged a protest regarding a 2020 decision to remove chocolate milk from the lunch menus at schools across the district. Many students, like Reed, were upset with the decision made by school officials. Quote, "We used to have it," he told NBC, but then they took it away. According to another student, it had been very popular. Quote, "You'd be lucky to get a spot for chocolate milk because it would be gone." That's according to 6th grader Wesson Markowitz told the outlet. So last Friday, the 26 students in Jordan's class joined together in an effort to bring back the beloved beverage.
And he's the sober one, ladies and gentlemen.
Brown cow.
Yeah. And it worked. District chef and culinary manager Richie Wilhelm told the Washington Post that school officials originally pulled the drink from schools due to its high sugar content. Now, Williams said the school plans to offer the chocolate milk once a week.
It's the one tiny bit of joy that these poor inmates get, and you want to take that away from them.
Chocolate milk.
You tyrannical bastards.
Content.
Seriously. Especially in a Californian public school.
One cup that is 250 grams of chocolate milk has 24 grams of sugar.
Yeah, and most of these kids, they probably go home. Yeah, they go home, they drink, like 2 or 3 Mountain Dews down before they came in, they downed a bowl of chocolate frosted sugar bombs and everything else. And you think that just because you take away their chocolate milk, magically you are Richard fucking Simmons.
Yeah.
So I brought it. Hang on, I brought in a resident expert here.
Pepsi has 39 grams per 12 ounces.
Yeah, I brought in an expert here. So Chloe, speak up so people can you say something.
Hi.
Can you guys hear?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about an article right now where a school got rid of chocolate milk and a little boy organized his class to protest to get it back. Would you do the same thing? Would you fight against the school to get your chocolate milk back if they tried to take it away from you?
Yes.
Resident expert right here.
There you go.
Okay.
Children of the world, unite, fight the man.
High C orange has 10 grams per 12 ounces. So it's worse than high C, but it's way less than Pepsi. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, these kids are guaranteed 100%. The majority of them are drinking super sugary drinks. They're probably drinking a bunch of juices, fruit juices, which also have more sugar.
Orange juice.
Yeah, orange juice is terrible. It's so bad.
Apple juice. 1 cup of apple juice has 24 grams.
You know what else apple juice has? Cyanide.
If you drink enough.
No, that's only if you've got the damn seeds that got ground up in there.
Yeah, but the majority of apple juices, they've actually done a bunch of analysis, and the majority of commercially available apple juices just crush the whole thing.
Healthy orange juice, 21 grams. So chocolate milk has 3 more grams than a glass of orange juice.
And I guarantee you, orange juice is available every single morning.
Yep.
With every single breakfast, and it's probably more than they're supposed to on a serving because those cartons, it's like probably a serving and a half, if not 2 servings. So you double it.
Yep. So it'll be 2 servings of orange juice plus again, it's going to be a sugary cereal that they're eating.
Yep.
They're already intaking more sugar than that in the morning.
I remember getting syrup and pancakes at my school breakfast.
Yeah.
Little silver dollar pancakes with syrup.
Yeah.
You got to school early enough to get breakfast? I'm jealous.
Christ, I never did.
When I was in elementary school, I was 7 houses from my school, so I walked.
Oh, yeah. See, yeah, when I got there, I was coming in the door at full run with a backpack on going, oh, crap, every single morning.
Okay,
Lean again, Tommy? You're pathetic.
Okay, so chocolate milk is 24 grams. That's 12 of natural sugar and 12 added sugar. So regular milk, whole milk, or 2% milk both have 12 grams.
So what?
Okay, so what's the big freaking deal?
It's got a lot of sugar. So does the other milk.
So
have you ever heard of lactose? What do you think lactose is? It's sugar.
Yep.
So the idea to stage a protest started when Jordan's teacher, Emily Doss, gave the students an assignment that hit close to home. That day, Doss assigned her class a Scholastic News article about, quote, should schools serve flavored milk, which was about a 4th grader in Missouri who petitioned to reintroduce strawberry milk at his school.
Strawberry milk is lame.
Yes. You see that TikTok video? It's strawberry milk because it's made from strawberries and not from cows.
Okay, that's stupid.
That TikTok video is hilarious. The lesson had a big impact on Jordan, who went home and started preparing for a protest, creating chants like, what do we want? Chocolate milk. When do we want it? Now. He also made signs reading, we need it, please.
We need it, please.
Less sugar, more chocolate. And he had a sign that said justice.
Justice.
Yes.
Justice has a name, and its name is Chucky Milk.
The next day, after learning that local reporters had caught wind of the protests, Doss told the Post, that's the Washington Post, that she rallied her students to make more signs and to come up with some solid arguments to help them plead their case. Afterwards, the students all left class to protest in front of the school. Their hard work paid off when the district's director of student nutrition met with a group to hear what they had to say. Jordan argued that providing regular milk as the only option caused his classmates to drink less milk, leading to increased waste, the newspaper reported. He also claimed that students were getting fewer nutrients like calcium and vitamin D. Ultimately, they managed to persuade the school officials who agreed to a compromise. So
that's freaking awesome. I mean, although I will point out that means that a group of toddlers, basically just over toddlers, 9-year-olds, managed to achieve more with their protest than the protesters in Virginia did a couple of years ago with the big bag.
Yep.
That's not wrong.
They've done more for freedom than the LP.
They have.
They have.
Yes. Yes.
They're fighting for freedom of choices, damn it.
Yeah, they've done infinitely more for freedom than the GOP ever has.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. Democracy.
See, and they didn't even have to actually set anything on fire, which I'm sure was the next stage, because they're mostly peaceful 9-year-olds. But
mostly peaceful 9-year-olds. No, future domestic violence extremist.
They're already on watch lists now.
They're all on government watch lists now.
Toy stores are going up in flames.
Yeah, they've been looted. Oh, the Pokemon cards.
There's Nickelodeon executives meeting with them to see where the future holds.
The next time, go ahead.
I was say, can you imagine the Vice News special on that?
Oh, chocolate milk are burning buildings.
Or the Rebel News. Could you imagine the guys from Rebel News that actually go on the ground at the riots and stuff? Just covering that, like,
dude, Rebel News. There's a video from Rebel News. They're at the convoy in Canada.
Yep.
And they're talking about the no honk ordinance. And there's a geese. There's like 3 or 4 geese. Like
and they're honking at them.
Canadian goose, and they're honking. And the guy's like putting the mic down in front of him. Do you have anything to say? And the goose honks. and the guy's like, that's against the law now. You're not allowed to do that. He puts the mic down again. The goose honks again. Oh, it's so good.
The great honking is what I am going to have dubbed this forevermore. But yeah. No, I'm just thinking,
lucky. They're really lucky these 9-year-olds didn't have horns. If they like out there with their bike horns, squeezing the bike horn.
Somebody,
that would have been epic.
Somebody needs
like
to
a fleet of clowns.
Somebody needs to call Mariana Van Zeller, and have her do an episode of Trafficked, where she interviews these 9-year-olds.
There's some kids in the black market in a trench coat selling yoo-hoos.
Yeah. Black market use.
Oh.
Well, and the funny thing is, speaking of Mariana Van Zeller, Magnus is going to be on an episode of her show. Yeah? She's actually interviewing him, so that's going to be pretty cool.
But that will lead us into our next article, which is U.S. intelligence report details indirect Russian government support for Western neo-fascist groups.
This is the funniest, derisions that I have ever heard, because it makes no objective logical sense.
That's what the Russians supplied the kids the cardboard and the markers to make the signs so they could pressure the schools into giving them back their chocolate milk.
But this says it's indirect support. That would be direct support.
Yeah. But it's hilarious, because what they're claiming here is that they're claiming that that Putin, who I think everyone can agree is a neo-Soviet, that Vlad Putin is providing support to the rebels in the Ukraine, who are by and large Nazis.
Yeah, it gets better than that. U.S. Intelligence Committee assessment obtained by Yahoo News concluded that the Russian government is providing, quote, indirect and passive support.
They're going great job, guys.
Indirect and passive support to neo-fascist groups operating in the U.S. and elsewhere, but stops short of accusing the Kremlin of supplying financial or material assistance to Western extremist groups.
Well, of course it stops
to be
short because
fair,
then they'd have to prove it.
Right. Although to be fair, I would really love that crate of
what
AKs and Hilux.
What is, quote, indirect and passive support?
Them
Great job,
Russian
guys.
bots. I was gonna say them Russian bots on
The
social media.
Russian bots.
They're giving them 2 enthusiastic thumbs up.
They're like Hades from Hercules. 2 thumbs, way up.
But they're not giving it
Oh.
directly to them. They're just saying objectively a cause that somebody might be involved in. Yeah, they're doing the fawns to them. They're smacking the jukebox and going, "Hey!"
See, okay, all right. The Kremlin, quote, probably tolerates some private Russian entities' support for U.S. and European white nationalist groups because it aligns with Kremlin efforts to aggravate social or societal fissures in the West. Okay, I'm going to read that again. The Kremlin, quote, probably tolerates some private Russian entities' support for U.S. and European white nationalist groups, quote, because it aligns with Kremlin efforts to aggravate societal fissures in the West.
What does that mean?
So the Kremlin probably tolerates some private Russian entity
Probably.
support
Some.
for U.S. and European white nationalist groups
For people somewhere we don't know where.
because it aligns with Kremlin efforts to aggravate societal fissures in the West.
Because it makes people pissed off.
Yes.
Right.
It's
That's yes.
okay,
The
okay,
known
so-
tactic of international politics to simply annoy the shit out of your enemy.
So the Kremlin probably tolerates, which means it's possibly accepts that some private Russian entities support. So it's supporting private businesses or private people.
It
that
tolerates, so
support,
it's not interfering with.
yes,
Right.
U.S. and European white nationalist groups, because Nazis are the hot thing right now.
Yeah.
Because it aligns with Kremlin efforts to aggravate societal fissures in the West.
Mm.
That makes it,
Makes
so it probably tolerates some private Russian entities' support.
So basically it just doesn't interfere with people who are going, great job, to neo-Nazis. Like that's what's happening.
Because they're providing passive support.
more or less they're providing moral support to people that are stirring
Well,
shit up against.
even like moral support, wouldn't that be indirect support? Right? So that's not really passive support. Like passive means you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're by not like immediately arresting people who are going, those Nazis are doing a great job. They're therefore passively supporting.
I mean,
this.
which is the complete opposite of Obama when he actively supported the neo-Nazi groups in Ukraine by giving them guns
And they're
training
and calling them
arms.
neo-Nazis.
I wouldn't even call them neo-Nazis. They're
Nazis.
actual Nazis.
Yeah, they're literal actual Nazis. Like, if you understand the history of Ukraine and this movement they're not neo-Nazis, they're actual armband wearing Nazis. That's who these people are. And you're claiming that the guy who wants to bring back the Soviet Union, who's a fucking communist, that he's supporting Nazis, because traditionally those two sides have gotten along so fucking well.
Well, it's just
and
it's
right
like
up until the time where they decided, they couldn't share Poland anymore
yeah.
Or Ukraine.
or Ukraine.
or
That's
Austria.
That's such a reach to make them a bat, to try and villainize them even more, kind of thing. It's just a huge reach.
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to build support for the U.S.
Yeah.
issue on the Ukraine-Russian border because there's no support for it.
No.
There's literally no support. And it's not even.
That's what I mean. They're reaching and grasping for straws, and trying to create something where there's not.
Yeah, and it's not even a U.S. thing. It's the European banks are the ones pushing it because the European banks are in even worse positions than the U.S. banks right now and the U.S. economy. The European economy is like it's seriously fucked. It's worse than the U.S. economy is going to be. So they're pushing it because war sells and military contracts and all the other stuff. War is good for business and all that other BS. So.
Well, if you're a war profiteer, war is great for business. If you're just about anybody else, war is terrible for business. Especially if you happen to live where the war is happening.
Right. I was going to say one of my favorite memes I've been seeing running around all over the place lately is the guy with a stick poking something. And
come on, do a war.
It says Raytheon over his head.
Boeing, all of that. And it says war.
Yep.
And it's poking Ukraine.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, and that's the thing is like all these people are screaming that Russia is about to go to war in Ukraine, except Russia and Ukraine.
Although I will say, I did find it interesting that the Ukraine is currently actively training civilians for a volunteer, I guess, militia force in the event that Russia does invade. It's like 140,000 additional people that they're taking old buildings and actually teaching them urban warfare.
But Russia has tanks and bombs and airplanes. You can't stop that.
So did Nazi Germany, and worked out real well for them.
Yeah. All right. This is okay. I want to get this punchline real quick. The support of Western neo-fascists by Russian extremists, quote, poses a potential threat to Western security by encouraging and enabling attacks on ethnic minorities and government facilities. Josh winced. What was the wince? What was the wince, Josh?
There was an awful lot of word soup there, but I don't think any of it made any sense.
That was the wince.
Poses a potential threat to Western security by encouraging and enabling attacks on ethnic minorities and government facilities.
So what they're saying is that they're possible, maybe passive and indirect support of these isolated, tiny fringe groups may potentially, possibly cause minor inconveniences occasionally. Therefore, the U.S. should invade Ukraine.
Well, not only that, but here's my 6 degrees of separation on this one, right? They said government facilities, right? There's been a huge talk about the infrastructure and the weakness of the infrastructure and how open the infrastructure is to hackers and to sabotage, right? Because we have a very centralized infrastructure system, right? Especially the electric. So this is the backhanded way of saying build back better.
Yeah,
we need to support the infrastructure bill.
Yeah. We need to give everybody free crack pipes. You need to be smoking out of a crack pipe.
You can have a crack pipe, but you can't have chocolate milk, kid.
Yeah, but no chocolate milk. It's you have to be smoking out of a crack pipe to think that one, Ukraine is in any conceivable way America's fucking business, and two, that Russia and Ukraine want to go to war. It's not even
Ukraine, it's the Crimea Peninsula.
Yeah. Well, and we know how the last Crimean War turned out so well for everybody involved. There's a reason why I call it World War Zero, kids. Read history. It did not go well for anyone. If you've ever heard of the last charge of the Light Brigade, that was the Crimean War.
Wolverines.
But talking about the U.S. infrastructure, I mean, it's incredibly centralized. You could get maybe half a dozen Marvin Heemeyers to.
You don't even need that. You don't need that because
you don't even need that. You just need to make it divide by zero.
The electric system as it is runs through like 3 or 4 different central points.
Yeah.
Right. So if you were to damage those points, it's fine. I mean, Josh, you're a lineman, right? I mean, you know how easy it would be to take out a line or to take out a transformer, and
I know how easy it would be to take out communications. I work for a phone company, not power, but same concept.
I work in IT. I understand how the whole communications racket works.
You remember 2016 with that big earthquake in the Pacific that caused that landslide that cut every single Asian to North American internet line? A lot of people don't realize those are physical cables that connect all of that, and all it takes is a rock in the wrong place.
If you want to go more, if you want to go more recent than that, you've got the Tonga eruption that just happened that severed a couple of underwater cables.
Okay. It's pretty easy to find out that there's only a literal handful of centralized locations for telecom where everything comes together and everything goes out. And if any one of those goes out, the entire country goes dead.
Yeah.
Between the United States and Asia, the Pacific, right across the Pacific, there are 16 cables that run across. At one point, all of them run through a single valley, which is what happened with that landslide. It was in that valley, and that's what caused the problem. There are 6 that run to Europe from North America. And again, all of them come together in multiple points as they run across, and they hit Europe and then from Europe to Africa. So you could disable all connection for the internet because all DNS servers are in the US.
Yeah, and you can't use Starlink because the cats are getting warm in the antennas. So, all right, now this is the best part. But the report, which was prepared by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence with input from the CIA and FBI, also says that the U.S. government lacks, quote, indications of direct Russian government support for foreign white nationalist groups. So
the whole article is saying that they're offering all this passive support, but
have no proof.
But have no proof.
Yes.
We're pretty sure that they probably may or may not potentially offer indirect and immeasurable passive support.
At this point, isn't this where we should insert that scene from Billy Madison? I now award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, everyone in this room.
Everyone is now dumber
for having listened to it.
But as per usual,
although to be fair, at the end of
you guys know I'm not done yet. You know this gets better, right?
Oh, you said those words again.
Russians,
you need to wear the patch from time to time whenever you do.
Russian state-backed online influence operations do, however, quote, amplify political divisive issues that likely help, quote, the radicalization and recruitment efforts worldwide of white nationalist groups.
There was a lot of word soup there.
Hold on. Remember, Russia's not doing anything directly, so it's not Russia doing anything. It's Russian state-backed online influence operations, quote, amplify political divisive issues.
Is this the goddamn Rube Goldberg of Files?
The divisive political issues are done by the U.S. government.
Yeah,
not Russia. Not Russia. It's not Russia saying stay in your home for the next 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah, it's like fucking Justin Trudeau with his we need mandates to prevent more mandates, and also the reason that the truckers are bad with their protests is because they're stopping people from going to their jobs and they're stopping goods from moving. And I'm like, interesting.
Hold on. Washington, D.C. blocked the streets to stop the convoy from blocking the streets.
They did the same thing in France. They did the same shit in France.
Yeah.
It was hysterical.
I just saw that today too.
And it's like, all I can see is the you played yourself homie meme.
Oh my goodness.
But that's the thing, though, is like Trudeau is honestly saying like the truckers are bad because they're interfering with people's livelihoods, and remember what he said about the truckers, where he's like, if you keep doing this, we're going to call it a crime, and it could interfere with your livelihoods, and you could lose your job, and you might lose your home because you lost your job, and you should consider the fact that this could interfere with your livelihood. Oh, you mean like fucking
You mean like-
mandatory shutdowns?
Yep.
Government
saying that I have
mandates?
to get
No.
fucking
then it
jab
goes-
mandates just because so I can drive my truck? Are you fucking kidding me?
And then it goes. The article goes on to talk about a couple of Russian white separatist groups by posting screenshots of their Instagram.
Their Instagram.
I'm just saying, Andrew can't have a Facebook, but these Russian neo-fascist militia guys can have an Instagram.
Probably a Facebook too.
Just
They're
put that out
probably
there.
Guaranteed at Facebook. Pedos are on Facebook. Can't get those
Yeah.
shut down for nothing.
There's kitty
Yeah,
porn on fucking Twitter.
Yeah, but I keep getting bans from things because I go, hey, the government is doing things that are wrong.
Yes.
What? It's the same reaction I had to I'm pretty sure I shared it to everybody. I'm sure you guys have all seen it. The Charlie Barron's thing where the Ohio in Hudson, Ohio, with the guy talking about, well, we can't allow ice fishing on this frozen lake in Ohio because if you have ice shanty or if you have ice fishermen, then they'll want ice shanties. And he's like, and then that leads to, and we all know what that leads to. And Charlie Barron's goes, walleye depletion. And the guy goes, prostitution.
What?
What kind of bait you using there, guy?
I stuck it in her ice hole.
Yeah, like, what?
All right. Okay. I got 2 more paragraphs and we're done with this one. Now, with the looming threat of a Russian invasion of Ukraine, U.S. officials are scrambling to identify and track American white supremacists who might seek to travel to the region to fight on either side of the conflict there, according to 3 current U.S. enforcement intelligence officials. Quote,
No.
there's a real concern here that this is another Syria.
Oh, you mean where the
said the
CIA
current-
backed one
Said
side?
the current senior law enforcement official, referring to how the Middle Eastern country's civil war turned into a training ground for foreign extremists. You mean the foreign extremists backed by the U.S. government?
Yeah, by the Central fucking Intelligence Agency.
Who were fighting the moderate rebels backed by the other U.S. government black
Backed by
USA!
USA.
Yeah.
We're number
For-
one.
for
We're
one-
That gives a
You
whole.
And number 2.
I mean, in most offices, you compete in like sales contests, or in maybe you have like a March Madness bracket. But in the Central Intelligence Agency, you back rival rebel groups in a foreign nation to see which one wins.
Well, does anybody else right now seriously have the Spider-Man meme vibes where they're pointing at each other?
Pointing at each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
Oh my God.
you're backed by the CIA. So are
Yeah.
you, dumbass.
You're backed by the CIA. You're backed by the CIA.
okay.
Wait a minute,
Except
are
there's
we all
probably
backed by the CIA?
15 groups and they're all Spider-Men pointing at each other. You're backed
Yeah,
by the CIA.
Well, and the thing is, I will tell you for certain, 100%. I've been to the Ukraine a few times. I talked to people. I know some people there. None of the neo-fascist groups who are not truly neo-fascist, they're just outright fascist. Again, these guys are just fucking Nazis.
Yes.
None of them is going to fight on either side. They are all fighting on the pro-Ukraine side with 100% certainty.
All right. Okay.
All of
one
them.
more. I have to get this one more quote in. Worries about Ukraine becoming a vortex for extremists, quote, have been a long time coming, said the senior law enforcement official. Quote, wherever there is conflict, there are people who want to join in and be a hero. So now we have a conflict, and now we have a real problem. There's no conflict.
There's literally no
There's
conflict.
Conflict.
Less than a week ago, Putin and I forget the premier of the Ukraine's name, but they sat down, granted at a comically long table, like it looked like something out of a Chevy Chase movie, but they sat down at this table and had a conversation,
And,
at the end of
literally said publicly, there's no issue.
yeah,
Here.
they both went, no, we're not going to war. Like I said, everyone
No.
is saying, oh, but they're going to go to war except the 2 of them. This is like if you're in a bar and everyone in the bar is going, oh, those 2 guys are going to fight. And they're drinking and standing there and just talking to each other. Everyone is convinced they're going to fight except them.
Yep.
Except because it's international politics and involves the United States is the one guy who runs up and shoves the one at the other one. It's like, oh, did you see what he just did?
It's hilarious. It's
Well,
hilarious. It's hilarious that they're pushing it this hard.
And it comes right out of the freaking playbook of history.
Mhm.
I mean, economic downturns. Oh, got to start a new major war so that way we can drive the economy back up.
Well, if you remember, there's a book, John something or other, John Perkins, Confessions of
Economic Hitman.
Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I have a free PDF link of that.
Yeah, it's a really good book if you haven't read
But
it.
that was what he did is he went in and for the CIA and caused economic issues, which led to a destabilization. So the U.S. government could come in and go, oh look, we're here to help, and then they went, oh look, we're here to stay.
Yeah, the don't forget, America fought a war over bananas.
Mhm.
America has fought a war leading up to World War I. America almost invaded Mexico over, I don't think it was bananas. It might have been the banana one that I'm thinking of, but no, I don't think it was. I think it was oil.
There
America,
was a chicken war.
Yeah, America has the whole reason Panama. Everybody forgets that fucking Panama happened, right? Like we were all kids when Panama happened, right? Like that was the early 80s, early 80s.
Yeah.
When Panama happens, the whole reason Panama happened was because Panama was like, hey, the Panama Canal runs through our country and shouldn't we control it? And America's like, no, you should fucking not. So America has never been above economic warfare as an excuse to then go in with troops.
Look what it did with the guerrilla fighters, right? The Iran-Contra affairs.
Yeah,
right.
The
Contras in Central America. U.S. ran them guns, and then they brought the drugs up here and pushed the drugs into the inner cities. Hashtag Freeway Rick Ross. Hashtag Rick Hershey. And 30 years later, congratulations! Now you're getting free crack pipes.
Well, it's just this whole situation is as bizarre as you guys remember that movie Canadian Bacon.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that Michael Moore actually directed that. That's a Michael Moore movie before he completely went full commie. Yeah, that movie is fan-fucking-tastic.
Before he became overtly commie.
Yeah, but the like maple syrup, Canada's evil oozes into the United States. Canadians, they walk among us undetected. William Shatner, Tom Green.
Take back Nickelback, damn it.
Like you guys can have him. We'll keep Avril Lavigne though; she's hot.
Oh yeah. Hashtag deport Nickelback.
Can we start it?
We couldn't get that lucky.
Hashtag deport Jim Carrey.
With all of the truckers at the border right now, you just got to get them to Michigan, and you can just literally shove them from one side of the border to the other. Although
I will say this: we have to keep
bridge.
We have to keep Ryan Reynolds though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds is ours. No, he's ours.
Yeah.
He's
we
no longer.
We licked him. He's ours.
Well, I guess that's better than the other way to mark your territory. So.
Well, strictly speaking, who's he married to? Crap, why am I spacing on her name? Gorgeous actress. I can't remember her name, but
yeah, somebody hot.
Anyway, her technically, I'm sure she licked him. So, and she's an American, so I guess America licked him. He's ours now.
Then I guess she could have marked her territory that other way too.
Yeah, I'm sure she marked her territory several ways.
No. All right, and this leads us to.
Have we gotten canceled yet?
No, we're still on.
Oh.
So, but this all leads us to.
You can't cancel us. We do this ourselves for no money.
So this leads us to the big article that I wanted to cover, and that is the federal officials released the guide to identifying U.S.-based violent extremists, and it's got like, what is it, like 34, 42 bullet points essentially as to identifying a U.S.-based violent extremist, and we're probably going to get like 15 or 20 of them. So
I think this is going to be my last one.
Anything less than half, and we are shameful anarchists. For shame.
Somebody keep score. The FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and National Counterterrorism Center this week shared an updated resources for identifying the U.S.-based violent extremist. What are they saying? Quote, it is important to consider the totality of an individual's circumstances when observing potential indicators because some factors may increase the risk of the individual could mobilize to violence in a given situation. Yeah.
All right.
So it's called a U.S. Violent Extremist Mobilization Indicators 2021 edition. Looks like the cover of a really cool video game.
It does actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
I mean, it's a broken glass with like a bullet through it, and there's a person with it. There's like a hand with a gun, and then there's like people running. It looks really cool.
I kind of want to make that my Facebook background now.
That seems like it would be a pretty like a pretty sweet James Bond game. Like when you look at it, like I could see that being a James Bond game, and you have the spy who loved me, the Octopussy, the man with the golden gun, violent extremists.
All right, so these indicators were developed and updated based on a review of information derived from dozens of FBI terrorism investigations, peer-reviewed academic studies, and analytic exchanges among intelligence community and law enforcement professionals. The indicators of violent extremist mobilization described in this booklet are observed behaviors that could help determine whether individuals are preparing to engage in a violent extremist activities. Okay.
All right.
The indicators are grouped according to the stage individuals undergo: mobilization to violence, engaging in preparation, developing motivation. These indicators suggest how close an individual may be to mobilizing to violence and are ordered by the strength of the indicator within each category. Okay, so mobilization indicator criteria. The booklet describes, behavior stage. So let's see.
So we're extremists behaving badly is what I'm hearing.
Yes. Let's see. Observes a law enforcement main position. Observe. Okay, where was I supposed to start? Okay, here it is. Traveling within the United States or abroad to carry out or participate in violent extremist activity.
I mean, that's a pretty good indicator that somebody is.
Okay, but what is violent extremist activity? Because according to them, like protesting is a violent extremist
activity.
According to them, standing up and yelling at your school board because they're morons.
Yeah, is a violent extremist activity.
Right. But then we also have to remember that this is from the same political group that believes that words are in fact violence.
Right. Yeah. So that's one. Right. So we're 1 for 1. Engaging in threatening interaction or violently refusing to comply with law enforcement based on violent extremist ideology.
So telling a cop, no, I'm not going to get out of my vehicle.
Not complying with a red flag.
Yeah,
or,
that makes
cop pulls you over for a trumped up reason, wants to search your vehicle because you have an empty casing in your car.
Yeah, and you go, no, you can't search my vehicle. I don't consent to searches.
Okay. Disseminating one's own martyrdom or last will video or statement.
Well, considering what you keep fucking doing to us, hashtag Duncan Lemp, I'm not surprised that we're all starting to do that.
Yes. For conducting a dry run of an attack or assault or attempting to gain proximity or access to targets. Right? That's what I would consider an escalation of force. Right? So to this point, it's just kind of normal rhetoric, right? Normal activity. So conducting a dry run of an attack or assault or attempting to gain proximity or access to targets.
Define
this is what they're hitting the Watchmen with.
Yeah.
Right? Because the 3 of them that weren't feds or fed informants went on a drive over a bridge.
Yeah, that's the thing is define a dry run and attempting to gain closer access. Like if I simply go on a tour of the U.S. Capitol, does that
or
indicate.
Say I train in a shoot house.
Yeah.
Right. And a shoot house just happens to be similar to a government building or to some building. Is that
Well, yeah. Or I happen to be training out in a field, and that field happens to have the same lay of land as some random government building that you track down. Now you're going to say, "Oh, see, this was a dry run for this."
Well, I mean, conducting a dry run, like they don't have to prove that you conducted. You can take a legit guided tour of the Capitol building.
Well, that's what I was saying. If I take an actual tour. Yeah, if I take an actual tour of the U.S. Capitol building, does that mean that I'm engaging in a dry run? Is that what you're going to say now? Because I took a tour of the Capitol? I mean, I've been there a couple of times. It's not very interesting. But, if you're inclined, I'm a fucking historian. I take tours of all sorts of historical buildings and things. Like,
let's see. Identifying in person or online specific details of an intended violent activity, including targets, timeframes, and participant roles. That's D&D. Oh.
Well, yeah, people, especially, again, I'm a historian, right? And I'm a military historian. We war game all the time. What ifs? Yes. And things like that at that point, the fact that we war gamed out a scenario, they're going to use that as evidence.
Yeah, force on force training. Right? Again, in a shoot house, force on force training. Right? Red team, blue team. Disposing of meaningful personal assets or belongings in an unusual manner, particularly with a sense of urgency or without regard for personal financial gain. It could be just a person downsizing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Josh, when you left California, you guys got rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So were you disposing of meaningful personal assets or belongings in an unusual manner?
I mean, yes, because we were dumping everything to leave California.
Yeah. Did you have a sense of urgency without regard for personal financial gain?
Yeah, actually.
No? Oh my God, Josh, you're a terrorist.
You're clearly getting ready to mobilize. That's clear.
Yeah, clearly.
No, that is a financial indicator type. Okay. Unusual goodbyes or post-death instructions. I'm awkward as fuck. All my goodbyes are unusual. And I do have post-death instructions.
Well, yeah, because you never know.
Well, at this point, especially at our ages, I mean, at that point...
Our ages, our philosophy, our online activity.
Yeah, again, because of what you keep doing to us, hashtag Duncan Lemp. What you keep doing to us, we have to assume. Michael Newman, just a little bit ago, right?
Yep.
Like, this keeps happening. Obviously, we're going to anticipate that you're going to do something to us. That doesn't mean we're going to do, we're planning on doing something. It means that we expect you to do something to us.
Yep.
And now apparently that's an indicator that we may be dangerous, violent extremists in the process of mobilizing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yet another excuse.
Communicating intent to engage in violence or a direct threat with justification for action, particularly if presented as necessary or inevitable in person or online.
That's necessary or inevitable.
That's literally every interaction with a person of an opposing belief. I cannot count the number of death threats I've gotten.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's not even just that. I mean, just saying like, hey, look, clearly with all this divisiveness and everything else, obviously, obviously we're approaching a level of no return. To me talking about how we're, Weimar America, me talking about how, there's a lot of similarities now between us and the antebellum United States. Me saying those things, that is me saying that something is inevitable, and they're now trying to use that as justification.
No.
Yeah, it's and all you're doing is drawing parallels between historical activities and how that usually translates into problems going forward.
Unusual building or testing of explosives, especially if tailored to a specific target. Hello, you can go down to the gun store and buy tannerite for without like showing a.
Which is a
ID or
terrible
nothing.
explosive, to be fair. But
I know, but
Yeah.
we're also guys. I mean,
that's true.
unusual building or testing of explosives. We're guys.
I have a
to.
goddamn permit to buy large scale fireworks, right? Like I can set off extremely large professional size fireworks. I have a permit to do that. I'm allowed to do that. If I'm buying large amounts of like explosives, it's because they look pretty when they go off.
Yep. Planning or preparing to travel abroad to join violent extremist organizations, seek training, or engage in a conflict zone.
They call the Peshmerga
is...
violent extremists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or what's the volunteer militia in Syria? The red one, the anarcho-communist one.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Oh.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called.
Communist or syndicalist, whatever they are. But
yeah, they're fairly closely related to in philosophy to the people who run Rojava now.
Yeah, Rojava. That's what I was talking about. Rojava.
Oh, you're talking about Rojava. Yeah,
Rojava is it's a volunteer militia. It's made of people from like foreign military, from the French Foreign Legion, from just civilians that went there to help protect these like literally innocent people from things that were going on. If you're going to go do that, you're a violent extremist, according to the United States government.
So would actually volunteering to go and join the French Foreign Legion qualify you as a violent extremist?
Maybe because they're a government, or are they a government organization?
They are a government organization, but they're a government organization, but good luck proving anybody joined because they literally don't actually keep track of your name intentionally.
Let's see. Planning or preparing to travel within the United States to participate in a violent extremist activity.
So, Andrew, next time we go to the range, we got to be careful. We might be turning into violent extremists.
Well, or if we even if we were to set up our own protest of the pots and pans and the wars thing, like what's coming up.
Yeah,
here.
Traveling to a protest.
Traveling
to a protest.
Me going to Denver for a protest. That's
Yep.
So
at that point, it's I even for a protest, I want nothing to do with Madison, so I'm not about to do that. But if
here's a gun. Seeking or claiming religious, political, or ideological justification or validation for a planned violent act. That was literally all of 2020.
Yeah.
What's up, Jack?
I'm trying to figure out. Early on, we got that message from Ronan. I'm trying to figure out where the hell that he is. If it's morning.
I don't know. Let's see. Unusual purchases of military-style tactical equipment.
What is unusual about having body armor?
Define.
Let's skip that one.
Unusual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's define unusual, please.
Okay, here's one. Breaking away from a larger group or creating a more exclusive or operationally secure group to discuss or plan violence or specific violent activity. All right, let's skip over that one.
Yeah.
Surveilling potential attack targets. Which again,
so if I sit outside and I'm like,
tour.
I'm going to take pictures of the state capitol or wherever, look at that, isn't that a pretty building? And I take pictures.
Right.
You're going to call that surveilling. I mean, don't forget with January 6th, they called the guy simply possessing a Lego kit of the Capitol. They said that was him preparing.
All right. 16, increased use of physical concealment tactics. 17, increased use of online concealment tactics. 18, communicating directly with or seeking to develop a relationship with violent extremists or being contacted directly by them for suspected criminal purposes.
Suspected criminal purposes.
So we're like the last, we're like the last 5 in a row. We're just like ding, 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 ding.
I'm just, Fifth Amendment, that whole I'm not going to incriminate myself. Yeah.
Unusual efforts to obtain explosive precursors, especially illegal or serendipitously. So like
explosive precursors are literally household cleaners.
Or Christopher's primers.
Primer.
Because I reload.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're buying, if you farm, you have a home farm and you buy ammonium nitrate fertilizer, that is an explosive precursor, right? So
acquisition
in
of
very
weapons,
large quantities.
Acquisition of weapons or ammunition for suspected criminal purposes. What's a suspected criminal purpose?
Yeah, a suspected criminal purpose.
Well, in some states, that's just carrying a weapon at all.
Like California, where you escaped from.
Or Illinois or New York.
No.
Or Colorado, I think.
Washington right now. The Senate just passed a ban on standard capacity magazines.
Colorado does have
limits to 15, right?
Limited to 15.
Nobody follows it except Denver.
Nobody follows it, and it's open carry for the most part. Yeah. Nobody really questions anybody carrying.
Yeah.
Well, there was just a study released too, as far as the magazines go. There's that study that was just released that found, and I know everyone was shocked by it, that
no difference.
High capacity magazines are the most common possessed magazines. And I'm like, which would make them what? Not high capacity, but in fact standard capacity.
All right.
Piles of lying shit.
Change in or initiation of physical or weapons training for suspected criminal purposes.
There's that suspected criminal
purposes. Yep. They keep throwing that out there. So if you want to get in shape, or if you want to learn how to use your firearm effectively, you're a potential U.S. violent extremist.
It falls under that 3 felonies a day thing. There's so many laws in this country that you're committing a crime. It does not matter.
Yeah,
they can mean anything.
And the thing is the way that they're wording this, because what's going to happen in application, what they will use for this is because they'll use this as justification for things. What they will say is
for limping people.
For every one of these is a red flag.
Right. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, well, we burst into your home at 2 a.m. firing guns and you fired back.
Yep.
Therefore, you clearly purchased the gun for criminal activity.
Yep.
Therefore, you were we had a right.
Yep, because you refused to obey a law enforcement officer that put the gun down after they shot you.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's what they're going to do is they're going to say, well, clearly we had to go in there the way that we did. Because you were engaged in criminal activity, and our justification for the criminal activity is that you bought a gun and then you shot at law enforcement when we kicked in your door.
Yeah,
we knew you were in criminal activity.
The latest one, the no-knock raid where they killed the guy because he grabbed the gun.
Yeah,
they got
asleep on the couch.
Yeah, they got the no-knock warrant by saying that it would be safer for law enforcement.
Yeah.
And they went in and they did not holler. The body cameras prove that they did not holler.
Yeah, they snuck in, surrounded him. He woke up to a bunch of cops. Well, what he didn't even know they're cops. He woke up to a bunch of people pointing guns at him and yelling.
Executed him. Absolutely executed him.
He went for his gun. They weren't even at the right address, the address that the warrant was for. And nothing's going to happen to them. Guaranteed nothing will happen to any of those fucking pigs because they're going to get qualified immunity, even though the warrant wasn't for that location.
Yep.
Oh, they won't even get qualified immunity. Nothing.
They won't be brought up on charges.
Yeah, it'll never even, and even on the well, I mean, maybe on the civil side they'll get QI, but they'll never get charged or anything because they're cops.
Planning or pursuing suspicious travel activity in a manner that raises suspicion of potential violence.
What is suspicious travel activity? So like on Monday,
everything is subjective.
Say on Monday, I have to drive to the state capitals to put my wife on a plane. Is that considered suspicious activity?
Sending or receiving unexplained financial resources or equipment to or from violent extremists. The flag's behind you guys. Boogie 79.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
creating,
I have a pair of them
joining,
right over
or
there.
implying membership / association in a person or online with violent extremists for the purpose of furthering violent activity.
Yeah.
So there's my
Well, this patch that I have on, all of the patches I got over there, the shirt that I bought from Anti-Social.
Yep. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's the poppin' shark.
Yep.
Let's see. Conducting
the
research
balloon.
to target or tactical selection for violent acts. So, for example, acquiring blueprints, maps, schematics, or technical specifications.
So most of that stuff is actually in the
I have
public
maps.
sphere.
I have maps of my area because I'm a prepper.
Well,
Yeah.
not even that.
So-
I mean, if you
Me having maps of all the locations of central offices of telephone company equipment.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a fucking military historian. Again, getting detailed maps and blueprints of things is what we do.
Attempting to seek technical expertise to enable planned violence. And it says, for example, in aviation, biology, chemistry, or electronics.
If you learn,
I'm
you're
in
clearly
IT. I work in IT. My job is network security. In order to defend a network properly, you gotta know how to break into it in the first goddamn place.
it's if you're
Or Josh's job. I mean, or telephone lines. Okay, Josh is attempting to seek technical expertise to enable planned violence.
I used to set up the planned route for telephone lines.
Yeah.
For data delivery.
Attempting to seek technical expertise. Your firearms books.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My reloading manuals.
Yep.
Where all it tells me is charge weights.
Professing intent to harm law enforcement if law enforcement takes actions, or statements of intent to harm others if confronted. Let's just skip over that one.
Let's just skip that one.
Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969.
There's not even talk about
Minecraft.
Yep. Expressing desire or willingness to die for violent
It's not Minecraft anymore. Everybody's going to Roblox.
Expressing desire or willingness to die for a violent extremist ideology.
Freedom is
Brandenburg v. Ohio.
Freedom is violence.
Yeah, freedom is violence. Don't forget all these fucking talking
weaponized freedom.
Are saying weaponized freedom, and there's that cartoonist who drew the word freedom or freedom of speech on the side of a truck and did like a 9/11 meme with society and democracy as the towers.
Yep.
Like that guy would probably call anyone who doesn't want a violent authoritarian regime an extremist.
Well, okay. Here's another example. So expressing desire or willingness to die for violent extremist ideology. Again, what's a violent extremist ideology? We can go back to the Bundy standoff.
Yeah.
Right. All those people standing in that goalie. Ammon Bundy, pushing that cop off of his wife. His wife was tased, bro. Ammon Bundy's wife was tased at the Bundy standoff. Like, I mean, pushing that cop off, that is, expressing willingness or desire or willingness to die for a violent extremist ideology. All those people are domestic terrorists.
This is literally calling the founders of the United States.
Oh, they would be
dangerous, violent extremists.
They would absolutely be in the North.
Every last one of them would be black bag today.
Yep.
Yeah, saying "give me liberty" or "give me death."
Yep. Threatening specific violence against a particular physical target, especially in response to current news reporting on political and legislative issues or other flashpoint events that speak to one's ideological concerns. We don't need to go into that one, do we?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think we're gonna elaborate.
If you're not watching, our homie Josh, the lame pirate Roberts pointed to the wood chipper patch on his hat. Threatening violence.
I have a wood chipper downstairs. I mean,
threatening violence towards.
We brought ours from California.
I'm the one who made the Mr. Chippy meme.
Threatening violence towards specific individuals, including civilian, government, law enforcement, or military personnel, which is literally what the police do every single day.
Yeah, they threaten violence on everyone simply by turning their fucking lights on.
Not
the
even
moment
by
the cop goes,
no.
Hold on, wait.
Not even that.
Wait.
No,
Producing, promoting, or extensively consuming violent extremist content online or in person, including violent extremist videos, narratives, media, and messaging for suspected criminal purposes.
We're sorry to all of you. It's all of you.
But going back to the one before that, you don't even have to wait for the cop doesn't even have to turn his fucking lights on behind you.
Yep.
That day I had that dumbass pull up in front of my house and threaten to shoot my dogs.
Yep.
Because they were supposedly barking and causing a disturbance.
Yep. Okay. Posing with weapons and imagery associated with violent extremism in photos or videos, especially if paired with threats or expressed interest in carrying out violent acts of an ideological target for suspected criminal purposes.
Hey, Andrew, how'd you get that scar on the back of your neck that's in the shape of a 5.56 casing?
I can't imagine how I wound up with it. Actually, it's on this side. How I wound up with a scar from a 5.56 casing. No, we're just gonna hang on. We're gonna just kind of
ignore what's behind Andrew.
None of this. None of it. No.
Quick, kill his camera. Expressing acceptance of violence as a necessary means to achieve ideological goals, and saying that non-violent means are ineffective or unavailable.
What was that we always say about 3 boxes?
Oh God, we're so fucked.
We are right.
We haven't had one thing on this list yet. We haven't been able that hasn't gotten a check mark yet.
The traveling abroad one. I don't think we
Andrew?
count for that. Well, Andrew was
that's Andrew.
He was in the military at the time, which is
he also spent time in Ireland with some.
I haven't been home in years intentionally.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah, it's been years and years.
Expressing acceptance of violence as a necessary means to achieve ideological goals, and saying that non-violent means are ineffective or unavailable.
Like pointing out the big Boogaloo in
Virginia.
Not even that. Pointing out that the boxes. Everybody knows the 3 box analogy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that in and of itself.
Attempting to radicalize others, especially family members and peers, to violence.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I don't know anything about that. We don't need to talk about it.
Hashtag disavow this podcast.
Yeah, just if you're watching this, you need to just walk away and
praising or researching it to emulate past successful or attempted attacks or attackers. I
was thinking about my meme of the burning Mount Carmel in Texas. With the caption, "This is why I'm not upset when cops die."
Yeah.
Yep.
Or I got the Mount Carmel one. It says on fire. It says nobody's coming for your guns. Yeah.
Or all of the memes that all of us post about Ruby Ridge.
Oh.
Yep. And don't worry, don't fear the government. It's not like they're going to shoot your wife in the back of the head as she's holding your baby.
In the face.
Well,
they shot her in the back of the head because she was walking into the house.
She was holding the door open. They shot her in the. They shot her in the forward. Okay. They shot her in the face. The bullet went through her face, through Randy's arm, and lodged into Kevin Harris's.
Okay. Yeah. So but don't worry, it's not like the government's gonna shoot your wife in the face as she holds your infant,
or shoot your kid,
zip your 14-year-old in the back with an MP5 and almost sever his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Or
try to shoot
execute
you.
while you're crawling across the floor and
Yeah. There you
begging
go.
for your life.
Increasing or extreme adherence to conspiracy theories as a justification for violence against ideological targets.
The thing is most of the things they say are conspiracy theories.
They say conspiracy theory because they don't want to admit that it's real.
Right.
Engaging in outbursts or fights with or condemning behavior of family, peers, community, or authority figures while advocating violent extremist ideologies.
So again, it goes back to this. Well, advocating
what
we've defined. The government is going. What we've defined as violent extremist ideologies, and we've covered before that everything that doesn't follow the narrative is a violent extremist ideology now. And they're saying, if you argue with your family members at Thanksgiving about how they're blind and don't see what's coming, therefore you are mobilizing to be a violent extremist.
Adopting more than one violent extremist ideology. Rejecting non-violent voices in favor of violent extremist ideologies. Changing vocabulary, style of speech, or behavior to reflect a hardened point of view or new sense of purpose associated with violent extremist causes, particularly after a catalyzing event.
So not calling cops, calling them bludgies or pigs or...
So after
Red
the
coats.
cops treat you like shit and the system proves that it's useless and doesn't give a shit about you, going, the system is useless and doesn't give a shit about you.
Or all those people calling for the death of the people that went into the Capitol on January 6th?
No, they're not extremists-y because they are on the government side.
Isolating one's self from family and peers, particularly if citing violent extremist doctrine or ideology.
Not wanting to have anything to do with people who disagree with you is violent extremism now.
Yes. So that was all 42 of them that are on this list.
And I'm pretty sure
Awkward.
We checked off about 38 of them.
30 something at least.
Yeah.
Awkward.
So if you are still listening to us,
congratulations.
Congratulations, you are also among the Untermensch.
You are considered a violent extremist and a direct threat to your government simply by the fact that you listen to this podcast.
Yes. And we are definitely going to be FEMA camp celebrities for doing this podcast.
And
I hope so, man.
To our listeners and everything, I apologize strongly to your dog.
I really hope it's a co-ed FEMA camp because your guys' beards would just not feel good. No, but 42 indicators, and we checked off 30 something of them.
Counted about 35.
The vast majority of them do not require a concrete anything. They are entirely subjective, and they enable circular reasoning. They enable you to go, well, they were a violent extremist, so we had to kick in their door, and then they shot at us, which proves that they're a violent extremist, which is why we had to kick in their door. So that's what it is.
No, so let's go back on this
circular logic.
Let's go back to the second to last one, 41, because this one is pretty heavy, and it has a lot to it. But it's changing vocabulary, style of speech, or behavior to reflect a hardened point of view or new sense of purpose associated with violent extremist causes, particularly after a catalyzing event. It literally says if you get angry that the cops killed a person during a no-knock raid over pot, congratulations, you're a violent extremist.
Or if you're angry that the cops kneeled on
the wrong door.
Yeah, or that they kneeled on the throat of a man who was accused of having a fake 20, and it turned out it wasn't even fake. You're a violent extremist now.
Which is hilarious. Which is hilarious. Hilarious if you know anything about the Treasury and the way the Fed works.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, calling it a fake 20 is kind of repeating yourself.
Yeah.
Did you see that one? Was it New Zealand where they kneeled on the head of the naked chick because she was
oh man,
protesting the COVID mandates?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dragged her by her hair, covered her with a sheet, and then kneeled on her head.
Yep.
Face
Rejecting
down in the sand.
rejecting non-violent voices in favor of violent extremist ideologies. If you support the police, congratulations.
Yeah,
You're
you favor a violent extremist.
You're a violent
ideology.
extremist.
Yeah. Because they're
that's
violent.
Literally all they are is violent.
They're extremely violent. Yeah, all the police have for a tool is violence. That is it. That is all they have. That is the lone tool in their toolbox is violence and the threat of violence.
So
that's it.
Do we need to dig into this list any further?
I don't think so.
I
think we've
feel
pretty
like
well
that
incriminated
would-
ourselves.
I mean, if you want to beat a dead horse, we can.
Well, I was gonna say that I feel like only that would only solidify the state's evidence in our pending trials.
Do we need a laugh after that?
I mean, that's pretty funny.
Here's a laugh. I need to get a T-shirt for my baby here that says "Future Violent Extremist."
Yes. I want one that's just the red check mark.
Well, don't forget the one that I came up with for her before she was born with the already banned from Facebook.
Oh, I have that one. Jason's wife made that one.
So
yeah.
So this is not on the list I sent you guys. I'm gonna wait till Andrew finishes drinking before I say anything.
I didn't get a list at all, so I'm blind anyway.
Tesla fixes features that let drivers blast farts from exterior speakers after it was found to break federal safety rules.
Wait, Tesla has exterior. That's amazing. I want a Tesla
because they're
now.
electric. Because they're electric, right? So they don't really have a sound.
Right, so
they
have
put
to make
speakers on the outside so you can make engine noises.
So where I work, right? So where I work is right next to a Java Vino, which is a coffee and wine shop. So you can guess the kind of people who tend to go to a coffee and wine shop. And we share a parking lot. Like there's two entrances and the parking lot's a continuous thing. I have gone outside to go vape and had so many vehicles almost just run me down because I can't even hear them coming because they're electric and they pull in. Also, I'm like, oh crap. Like, thank God for winter, which means that snow is creaking and I can hear them coming, because if I didn't have that, it would be all the time. They are that fucking quiet. Yep. In fact, the Nissan Leaf, which is electric, is so quiet. They had to redesign the side view mirrors because otherwise it would whistle at just the right pitch that would almost drive people insane. When you
they're pretty common here. Teslas and electric Priuses and Leaf and all that they have like outdoor charging stations, right? It's like literally like a gas station, but it's a charging station.
Mm-hmm.
And people keep stealing the lines from them because the lines are like 2 pounds of free copper.
I saw that article the other day. I was laughing.
So Tesla will beam a software update to 578,607 vehicles after acknowledging that its boombox feature, which lets drivers blast various sounds outside their vehicle, does not comply with U.S. safety regulations. Boombox, introduced as part of the holiday software update in December 2020, lets drivers swap out their normal horn honk for sounds like a goat, La Cucaracha, or a custom song clip. And yes, one of those preset options is the most hilarious of all sounds, the fart.
It was preset.
The problem is that those farts could drown out the pedestrian warning noises required in every electric and hybrid vehicle, potentially increasing the risk of a crash, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I just want the sound from that sun from the one planet they go to in Rick and Morty to just play all the time when I drive a Tesla, that scream. Where they're like, oh, this doesn't seem so bad, and then the sun comes up and it's going, ah! The whole time. I just want that. So everywhere I'm driving, it's just, ah!
There's a couple of clips from some porn songs I would put that'd get me in trouble.
Fucking amazing.
That would get me in a lot of trouble.
Every time you push your horn, it's just like, my neck, my back.
All day I dream about sex. It's all day I dream about right, the federal government requires that hybrid and electric cars emit some sort of sound at low speeds so pedestrians can hear them coming. This usually manifests as some sort of high-pitched whining or whirring noise. It's required because electric cars are so much quieter than their internal combustion counterparts. After going back and forth with regulators over whether boombox could interfere with Tesla's pedestrian warning systems, the companies agreed to recall the feature and issue a fix remotely. After the update, boombox will be disabled when a vehicle is in drive, reverse, or neutral.
Actually, you know what?
So if you're in park, if you're in park, you can still make your car fart.
You can still, if it's in park, you can be like.
I just want to sit in the parking lot, and people walk by. Just fart.
Every time you pull up to a drive-through, that's as soon as you pull up, just.
Truth be told, I would have so much fun with that because I would put ludicrous "move bitch" on my horn.
Yeah,
Move bitch, move bitch.
Hit the horn and it slit your throat and fuck the wound. And I'm a violent extremist.
There are so many ways that you could potentially have fun with that, especially if you can get it to play the whole time you're driving, like the whirring sound is supposed to be. Because at that point, I mean, you could just have it doing all sorts of things.
It's a computer, so I'm sure it's hackable.
Oh, I'm sure it's hackable, but like, think of the possibilities. If you could make your car just constantly blasting something as you drive along, you could just have a goat going just everywhere you go. Just drive past
people looking out their windows like, the hell's that, a goat?
Was that a goat? What's going? Why did that sports car just
then you gotta have it? But then you gotta have it where you can just like push buttons and change it. So you're going down the road and then out of nowhere you change it to like a dog barking.
As you drive by, it's just going. Woof, 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 woof. No, because then the cops are definitely gonna notice you.
It's just some porn star mourning.
Yeah, that would be fucking. Just every time you hit your horse, just.
No. Every time you hit the horn, oh my god, you're gonna make me come.
Oh yeah.
Tom Green doing a fish.
Press the horn. Oh wow.
Yeah, dude, if you're gonna drag
Jonathan Davis. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Andrew, as you're getting ready to do a drag race, it's let's get ready to rumble.
That's right where I was just gonna go and just do that. Or have it play the techno version of the Mortal Kombat theme everywhere you drive.
Oh god. Now I'm gonna have to listen to that when we're done, damn it.
People would just watch you drive by and be like,
Super Mario.
The horn is the sound of Mario going down the pipe.
Or the coins. The coin sound.
As you run down pedestrians, you're like, ding, ding, ding.
It hits a pole. You hit a pole. It does the Sonic the Hedgehog sound.
I mean, I may have killed 5 people.
Your horn goes pew 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 ping.
Oh man, the Star Wars phaser sound.
The phaser sound
would just be amazing.
Chewbacca.
Or it just yells very loudly, you scruffy looking nerf herder, every time you hit the horn.
Ludicrous speed.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyway?
Use the shorts.
We ain't found shit.
Oh,
the fact though that, so I mean, like, I love Tesla, don't get me wrong, I do love Tesla, and I love Elon Musk's sense of humor, where like he's got, you know, the plaid edition, and all of the cars have the ludicrous speed mode and stuff, and where you can select no, I want my mommy, if you change your mind for cancel.
I,
It's all great.
one
I love
of my
it.
favorite ones by him is the "Don't Panic" on the Red Roadster.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore, are you too good for your home?
Yeah, go to your home. Are you too good for your home?
The price is wrong, bitch.
Ooh, that would be
Jackass. Yeah, just
Jackass.
Jackass. See, now that would be a useful horn. If I could hit it and it just go Jackass.
If you hold it down, Jackass, while he's on fire.
Yep, and that's why we're going to jail.
And
right,
I'll see you in the parking lot.
The person turned around.
Guns
we're
don't kill people.
We're already in the parking lot, mister.
Yeah, we're in the parking lot. What do you
Care Bear stare? that would be a disturbing one. If it's just like, or SpongeBob's laugh.
Oh God, no.
Oh, I want that playing the entire time I'm driving, just like driving past people. Just...
Have the biggest shit-eating grin on your face.
You would get shot. You would get shot so many times.
Can you imagine sitting next to me in traffic?
It would put it. No, you'd have to put that on your truck.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I might have to hook up a PA system now, and then
Andrew has a very loud truck.
Oh yeah, my truck, like you can hear it from about 3 blocks away, on average, and the tires, because they're MTs, sound like a very angry horde of bees everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
Although I still had some stupid lady the other day at a 4-way stop, as I'm halfway through the intersection, decide she's just gonna blow the stop sign. Like she'll tap her brakes and keep going, and like I'm watching her, and she's from driving.
She's from California.
Yeah. She had to have been. She's still driving at me. Like my truck, which towers over her little econo box, is directly in front of her, and she is continuing to accelerate away from the stop sign at the truck.
You should have let her hit you.
Anarcho Baby has just done her
over.
best Tesla horn impression.
There you go. Nearly 24 municipalities in Washington State have banned income taxes.
Good.
22 cities and counties in Washington have adopted ordinances that prohibit the imposition of local income tax. Pasco, located southeast of Yakima, became the 14th city to adopt such a ban when the city council approved the resolution Monday. It joins the cities of DuPont, Battleground, Granger, Grand Coulee, Longview, Kennewick, Moses Lake, Richland, West Richland, Spokane Valley, Union Gap, and Yakima. A total of 8 counties, that is Aston, Benton, Clinton, Douglas, Franklin, Grant, Spokane, and Yakima, have done the same. Quote, such a tax would be a direct conflict with the high value the city places on promoting economic development through the attraction and expansion of financially healthy family wage-paying employers. All right, makes sense to me.
Yeah. Also, it's pronounced Cooley, not Cooley.
Whatever.
It's Cooley.
Okay, that's nice. Congratulations. Go honk your horn.
I live in the Cooley region, Illinois. Cooley's kind of like a valley, but it's a little different.
It's a valley that comes to an end.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, congratulations. That's nice.
It's just,
you want a cookie?
Let me be pedantic. God damn it.
Let's see. Voters in the city of Yakima last year approved the charter amendment banning income taxes by a margin of 78 to 22. In addition, 61% of voters recommended that legislators repeal the new capital gains tax also. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean it's weird for
these are all
Pacific Northwest, but these are eastern counties, right?
Yeah, these are all eastern. They're all on the eastern side of the
So that's like Northern California stuff.
Idaho, then.
It would be part. Technically, it's part of the Redoubt.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's part of the Redoubt. Like it's
or what was the state secession? Liberty. Right, the Liberty. So this would be part of the state of Liberty, which is western or eastern Washington.
Yeah, it's kind of a Western Idaho kind of thing. This is what they are. They're essentially West Idaho. And it's those counties over there.
There was the county-based secession movement not that long ago where they wanted to join Idaho, and I think they called it.
Well, no, that
Greater
was
Idaho.
Oregon. That was Oregon.
Oh, there was
Greater-
part of Washington that was included.
It was
in
Greater Oregon. Washington had their own state secessionist movement
Okay.
that would divide the state in half, and that was Liberty. Well, but either way,
that
fantastic.
should definitely happen. Yeah, and this is really cool. It's a really cool idea that, you know, I mean, they can't stop federal bullshit because they don't have the power to, but they can say
they don't even have the power because of where they are in the population density on the western part of the state. They don't have the power to stop it at the state level.
No.
So the only thing that they can do is stop it at the county level. So this is localism. This is localism at work.
Yeah,
I love it.
They're stopping preemptively. They're preventing this from becoming an issue, which I wish fucking La Crosse would have ever done. Because I mean, La Crosse, the city that I'm in, we, unlike a lot of Wisconsin, we have a lot of local taxes and a lot of local stuff because we're a city. So
us too.
we got a wheel tax where if you want to title your freaking vehicle, you got to pay extra taxes on it. And, like, I own the vehicle, but if I want to drive it on the road every year, I need to continue to pay a tax on it.
Yeah.
Well, got to do that anyway with the stupid vehicle registration fees.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just. Oh my god.
We just registered.
All right, we
my
got
wife's truck.
Let's see what we got. About 15 minutes left. Let's get into this one. Former Air Force Sergeant and Boogaloo extremist has pleaded guilty to killing a federal security officer. Former Air Force Sergeant and member of the extremist Boogaloo movement has pleaded guilty to killing a federal security officer in Oakland during a racial injustice protest in 2020. The ex-military officer Steve Calero, Calero, 33, changed his plea Friday after federal prosecutors said they would not seek the death penalty. Instead, as part of a plea agreement, prosecutors are asking that Calero be sentenced to 41 years in prison and a lifetime term of supervised release, according to the Department of Justice. So 41 years, that's 41 plus 33. He would be 74 before he got out.
Which means he's going to die before he gets
out. So it's a life sentence, essentially.
District County Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers has to decide whether to accept the plea agreement. Okay. According to prosecutors, Calero and an alleged accomplice, Robert Alvin Justice, Justus, were looking to use the cover of the protest in response to the police killing of George Floyd when they traveled to Oakland on May 29, 2020 to target police. Calero was charged with 1 count each of murder and attempted murder after prosecutors say he opened fire outside the Ronald V. Dellum Federal Courthouse, killing Protective Service Officer David Patrick Underwood and injuring a second officer. Quote, there is no evidence that these men had an intention to join the demonstration in Oakland. They came to Oakland to kill cops. That is according to FBI's Jack Bennett, who said in a June 2020 news conference. Calero is linked with extremist movement known as Boogaloo, whose members expect and are seeking to provoke a second civil war. In recent years, Boogaloo members have looked at mass protests and civil unrest as an opportunity to cause chaos and promote violence, according to federal officials.
None of us want fucking chaos.
It's more bullshit. That's more bullshit propaganda. And again, they traveled domestically for intended criminal purposes, which is one of those 42 indicators.
Yeah, and you look at what they did, right? Because this is what the courts, what the police will do, is they will, with a plea deal, effectively coerce under threat of worse sentencing, like in this case, literally actually death. They will coerce you to admit to things that aren't necessarily true, to say things, anything that they want.
Example, the Watchman, the Wolverine Watchman in Michigan. They recently had a guy that took a plea and said, yeah, I did it, in exchange for him literally saying, no, they did not entrap us.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is exactly the same. So this is exactly the same as what you saw during the Vietnam War at the Hanoi Hilton. This is the same thing as you saw from the Gestapo in World War II. This is the same kind of thing the KGB used to do with their denouncements and everything else.
Nope.
That's what they do. This is what that is they're saying, well, you have to say what we tell you to say.
Yep. Or we're gonna kill you.
If you don't want us to, in this case, literally kill you. We will kill you if you don't say this.
And in California, right? He's going to be on death row for 20 years, right? Before they even get to the place where they can kill him.
Yeah, and they're
Right.
probably just going to commute his fucking sentence at that point anyway. Like that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
So, like but in exchange for them not threatening to kill him,
Yep.
they're going to make him say anything that they want him to say.
That's in the plea agreement. Carrillo admitted to subscribing to the Boogaloo movement's principles and said he, quote, wanted to carry out violent acts against federal law enforcement officers.
You know, if this was about justice, it would be illegal for prosecutors to force you to admit to specific things for a plea.
Yep.
But it's not about justice. It's about being able to create specific narratives for the public.
Yep. Again, just like that first article or the second article we covered about the white supremacist that Russia is passively supporting, that the government has no proof of. We
don't have any proof or anything that we can, use to demonstrate, but we're telling you this is the case. But I mean, that's the thing is, though, is what makes this so dangerous is that they can then have whoever they grab admit to tons of things and specifically reinforce their narrative because they have to sign on to a specific statement that the prosecutor wrote for them.
Yep, it becomes a propaganda piece.
Yep, they're then going to publish that, put that out everywhere else, and then use that as justification to attack people in this case, the Boog movement specifically in the future. And they're going to say, see, this guy said he was part of the Boog movement and that this is what he wanted to do.
Well, not only that, but
therefore you're dangerous.
Look what this Boogaloo did. All right, that's what they're going to be able to point to. Look what this Boogaloo did. Look at how violent and deadly this ideology can be. We need to add them, or we need to go after them. They need to be part of the domestic violence extremist movement. Right, and then they start hitting people because they liked a meme, or subscribe to a Telegram chat or
have a flag in their background,
or have a flag in their background, or patch the war that they wore one time on a podcast.
Speaking of which, guys, I have 4 flashlights out on my deck. I'm gonna bounce out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on, but there's 4 flashlights out on my deck.
Stay safe.
Yeah,
babies are not good at stopping projectiles.
No, they're not. So I'll send you guys a message in the chat.
Check in. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Cool.
That was that's lovely.
Yeah.
Which leads us into the next article, or the last article of the night. This Idaho bill could repeal a law that bans private militias. It has surprising allies. Who's the ally?
I can't imagine.
Oh no! You will honestly be shocked. Legal experts have raised concerns over a new bill pushed by the Idaho National Guard and Governor Brad Little that would repeal a long-standing state law prohibiting private militias and paramilitary organizations. Pushed by the Idaho National Guard and Governor Brad Little. Yes. While the anti-militia law is currently not enforced in Idaho, removing it would limit the obstructions to private militias which operate outside the state authority and are unaccountable to the public, legal experts say. Similarly, anti-militia laws have been used to halt paramilitary activity through the courts in other states. Blah, blah, blah. Last month, the Idaho National Guard introduced the legislation, quote, relating to unorganized associations and parades. They would repeal part of the Idaho Code section that regulates the Idaho Military Division. The statute forbids, quote, a body of men other than the National Guard to associate themselves as a military company or organization or parade in public with a firearm in any city or town of the state. Major Stephen Stokes, General Counsel for the Idaho National Guard, told the legislative panel that the statute, quote, restricts fundamental rights and freedoms.
Yeah, it fucking does.
Stokes calls the restrictions, quote, antiquated and clear violations of both the U.S. and Idaho constitutions. So holy shit, first of all, that the Idaho National Guard is pushing this. But again, as we've talked about before in the past, Andrew, the redow mentality, right? The
Yep.
conservative mentality, the balkanization is happening. This is a balkanization move, in my opinion. Right? This is Idaho standing up and saying, we respect your rights. Especially the Idaho National Guard is standing up and saying, we respect your rights. We want you to fight by our side if that shit comes down to that.
Well, yeah, and I mean, what it is that, you know, and I think it's it's an eye roll that it's even needed.
Yes,
because the Second Amendment was specifically supposed to be for private fucking militias, so people could do the shit that they were supposed to do. But yeah, it's that area of the country. The redoubt is Idaho and Montana and Wyoming. That area right there, that is kind of the last bastion of what the United States used to be, and how people used to think. And it's about the idea that, sorry, I have my girlfriend double checking that I don't have anybody up front or anything too. Because Chris doesn't live that far away from me. So I'm just making sure. Not that I'm all that worried.
And now we're domestic violence extremists. Thanks, Andrew.
But
as if we weren't before.
Yeah, well. I could also bring up, remember that purchasing this is also considered.
Yes.
It's also within arm's reach at all times. But the whole thing with this is the move is clearly happening where a bunch of these states that are part of the redoubt, a bunch of these places that are anti everything that all the direction the rest of the country is going, are preparing for when they finally have to say enough is enough.
Yeah.
And break away.
Montana's done this a little bit. Idaho, Wyoming's always been good. And like Texas is doing this, Florida's doing this. Idaho or Iowa, they've done a few little things. Arizona's done a few things. Like I think Arizona just repealed the tax on precious metals. Idaho has a bill going through that they're pushing that would allow the Idaho to invest budget surpluses in precious metals. So to get it out of the stock market, because stock market's gonna fucking crash.
Oh, the stock market's been crashing so bad. I had
CenturyLink. The Fed Reserve has said that they're going to raise the rates at every meeting through the fall.
Yeah, and the
economy's gonna hit the brakes.
Yeah, and I can remember even back years ago, almost 3 years ago. I when I worked at CenturyLink, one of a lady that I worked with in my department, she was about to retire, and she told me that, even 3 years ago, she was like, in the past 6 months, my retirement fund, my 401k, has lost $40,000 worth of value. That was 3 years ago. Things have not been getting better in the past 3 years, in case you've been living under a rock. So where do you think that value is at now?
Not only that, but now they're pushing the digital dollar and all this stuff. Like there's actual talk, like legit talk from legit investors that when shit goes south, that the banks, the Federal Reserve, issuing a negative interest rate on bank balances. All right, that's a negative interest rate on bank balances. So, so you put, say you put $1,000 into the bank, instead of interest rates, adding to that $1,000, you would lose money because of the economy and the crashing and all that other stuff. So it's scary. It's really scary, and I love bills like this, and this is why Idaho's like way high on my list.
Oh yeah, Idaho was
I think Idaho's I think it was number 10 on the Freedom Index. I think Montana was 13.
Yeah, and it was.
But I mean, those things aren't done by the.
It's been a number of authors' favorite. Some of my favorite authors' favorite states. Where
Nicholas Evans, who wrote the book The Horse Whisperer, all 4 of his books take place in Montana.
Yeah. Oh God, why can I not remember he hunted Nazis in World War II. He hunted U-boats on
there's a whole bunch of those.
Yeah, but he wrote a ton of stuff. He wrote oh God, why am I seriously? Really popular author. We all know who he is. And my brain is just going, nope, no names today. We're not doing that. What is
that one guy whose name you can't remember?
That one guy who is a super badass. He blew his head off with a shotgun.
Hunter Thompson?
No, Hunter S. Thompson didn't blow his head off.
Kurt Cobain?
World War I vet. Yeah,
I have no idea.
Kurt Cobain.
Emily Callahan, the governor's communication director, told the Idaho Statesman that the governor's office approved the bill language and gave the green light to propose this bill this session. Quote, Governor Little is a strong supporter of America's First and Second Amendment rights, and nearly 100-year-old statute that H475 will repeal is needless and inconsistent with the Idahoans' right to peacefully assemble and bear arms in public. So, yeah, I'm stoked on it. I like this bill. As I said before, Idaho's high on my list, and Andrew and I have talked about. We've talked about the Read album on this podcast several times, and Andrew's looking up that name because it's going to drive him nuts if you can't remember.
It will drive me absolutely insane if I don't remember.
So, and if you're listening, Christopher, right before he checked out, he said there's flashlights on his porch. He said it was a couple of county mounties looking for a drug dealer or drug runner or whatever, something like that. And Christopher said that he told them he hopes they get away, and then closed and bolted his door.
Nice.
Yes. There you go, Christopher. There you go, Jack. That's a perfect one. When you travel to the MPLF, that is the Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest, you're a terrorist.
Yep.
Yes.
Sweet God. So the name I was looking for was Ernest Hemingway.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Hemingway. Hemingway's favorite state. He always said his favorite state was Idaho.
Yep. Okay.
I feel better now. I know no one else cared anymore, but I feel better now. I had to remember.
You can have 2 cookies now.
Yeah. I had to remember, or it was going to drive me insane.
So you got anything on that Idaho thing, Josh?
I mean, they're still pretty on the top of our list too, just for that.
If I win the lottery, if I win the lottery and buy a ranch in Western Montana, you want to come up there and help me run it?
Absolutely. We will drop everything and take off in our trailer.
And all of us are packing up. Yeah, we're all packing up. We're heading out there. I already have a. God,
can you imagine how bad? Can you imagine how bad this podcast would be if we all recorded in person?
It's no, we're
a literal roundtable.
Yeah. And I already got plans for how you build it, because one of the first and most basic defensive things that you can build if you're going to build anything is a ditch, and a lot of people overlook it now, which always drives me nuts. So I'm like, just dig a fucking ditch. Like, don't underestimate the power of just a lengthy hole around things that you're trying to protect.
It bummed me out. This one property out here in Colorado we were looking at was it backed up to like hunting land. It was up on a ridge, and there was a literal ditch on the front end of the properties and just a little thin roadway with a chain going across it. And I was like, I could totally work with that. It was already there. It was mountain. It was trees. It was so much coverage, and there was no way to crawl up on you.
But then you have to get yourself a trench shotgun, and you just run through the ditch, running through scenarios in your head and become a domestic violence extremist.
And grab yourself an 1897. If you're running through an actual ditch with an actual 1897, I am very jealous of the fact that you have an actual 1897 to run through a ditch.
Yeah. So,
and of course, a tomahawk doing Patriot style.
Oh yeah,
I would be rock hard. I'm just putting that out there.
It would be pretty impressive. Yeah, no, but I mean, like you could,
with the kilt my wife just bought me.
If you moved,
I just see Sandy, kind of breezy, huh, Josh?
I wonder what it's true. If it's true, what they don't wear beneath the.
I wonder if they can make. I wonder if they make Boogaloo stripe kilts.
Ooh, if no one does, someone should. Lindsay sews.
Yo, Boogaloo 79. What you up to?
Yeah, hey man, like I'm about to pimp your shit here in a minute. Like you need to make us some boog kilts.
Yes,
it's a kiltaloo.
I mean, to be fair, the Scots didn't even wear kilts until the 18th century. Well, late 17th, early 18th century.
I've seen Rob Roy. I mean,
it's that's like Braveheart is full of shit. Like every single part of that movie is full of shit. Like all of it, beginning to end.
It's Mel Gibson, bro. I mean,
Mel Gibson. It's Hollywood.
They're all full of shit.
It's so bad. It's like as someone who enjoys entertainment and movies, it's a good movie. As someone who's a historian,
do you know how inaccurate the Patriot is?
Oh yeah, I mean, they got some things right. They got uniforms pretty correct, which I'm happy with. They got weapons pretty correct, which I'm happy with. Certain tactics they got pretty good.
The reference to some historical events was pretty accurate.
Yeah, some of that stuff was pretty good, but even the Swamp Ghost is a real thing from the American Revolutionary War. So the name the Swamp Ghost, that is a real thing. Didn't apply to that guy, but the name is a real name from history.
Well, most movies in Hollywood that have the based on a true story or inspired by true events, it's like 10% of it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did the Waco series really well.
Waco was
the Ruby Ridge movies are pretty good. But like, I don't know. I think that's about it. And those were more documentary than actual movie.
In fact, I mean, there are a lot of historians on YouTube who do critiques of historical films and things. But I would love to do it, and I'd like to get some anarchist guys, and we can, who are into history and stuff. We can do it. If you guys want to see that, let us know in the comments and stuff. Like, that'd be cool. It would be cool. I mean, if enough people are going to watch it,
I want to see you hang out with Ian and talk about that Gloss gun.
The rifle thing, that thing is nuts, man. Like that scares the shit out of me. I would not use it.
Battery powered electric projectile.
It is a shoulder fired
using magnets to fire. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It looks like something out of Fallout.
It's not what I would call overly powerful, but potentially lethal.
It has like the same power as a 22. But it's like it's the proof of concept.
Yeah. So now it's just about developing
his line
technology.
His line about not sticking a fork in the rifle was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, don't stick your fork in the Gauss rifle. That's a terrible idea. You will die immediately.
All right, let's do our outro, Andrew.
Plugs. All right.
Plugs. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. I'm real good at that stuff. If anybody else wants to sponsor me just because I'm really good at this, please do.
He's better at the outros than I am at the intros.
I like free stuff, man. I'm a big fan of free stuff. It's my favorite price. So if you want to learn to think for yourself, or you have homeschool kids or anything else, make sure you buy Derica's book, Think for Yourself. It's available on Amazon. It's not particularly expensive. It is a workbook. So don't go into it thinking, don't go into it thinking that it's going to be this big, long. It's not a treatise on Aristotelian logic. Also, if you want to care for your beard like a Viking and you want it to be soft and supple and shiny and healthy and smell amazing, check out thebeardstruggle.com. Make sure you use code InkedAnarchist15. Get 15% off of your entire order. They have amazing stuff. They have a beard straightener. They just released Beard Straightener 2.0. It's got carbon fiber on it, which is cool. I don't know why that matters, but it's neat, man. Do that. Get it. Use code InkedAnarchist15. Also, make sure that you check out Boogie79 on Twitter. He's got some cool stuff. That flag that you saw Chris rocking, I have one of those as well. The Wisconsin Boogaloo flag. He's got all the states. He's also
waiting
got
for
the
my
Boogaloo
Colorado
Unity
one.
flag. Yeah, he does all that cool stuff. You should definitely check him out. He's got some amazing stuff. Also, as you are rocking Mr. Lame Pirate Roberts, the coolest patch place to check out is Poppins Patches. He's got the tactical tricorn with all the 3 separate patch panels. It is a tricorn hat that has patch panels on it, so you can throw morale patches on it. He's got a lot of amazing patches. The Boogaloo Shark one that I have a red one of, you have a blue one of. We all love all of his stuff. He does the Ed and Eddie one. The wood chipper one, all of that stuff is from him. They're very, very high quality PVC patches. He also does stickers, all sorts of cool stuff. I'm still really happy. I haven't put this on anything yet, but during the COVID thing, he sent me a Chicken of the Cave sticker, which I'm a pretty huge fan of.
I got my Ed and Eddie sticker on the water bottle you guys got me.
Awesome. Yeah, see, he does tons of cool stuff. You should definitely check him out.
He threw in a free patch for me too one time. So yeah, they're cool. They're cool guys.
Yeah, he does all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah, you gotta love Dave. Also, I am an affiliate of RK Spookware. So if you maybe use your 3D printer for things that some people might object to, and you want extra supplies like metal rails and sears and all sorts of cool stuff, check out the affiliate link in the description so that you can get
it's literally going across the screen right now. rkspookware.com AFF-11.
Use that, please use that one to order stuff, because that supports me and I like to get supported. It would make me happy, and don't you want me to be happy? I want me to be happy.
Boogie also, I guess, has a sale going on. You buy one flag and he throws in another flag, like 2 or 3 different choices for free.
Sweet.
Oh, she was doing that when I ordered my 2 flags.
All right, you got anything else, Andrew?
Not really. Again, RK Spookware, use the affiliate link if you want to get some stuff so that you can 3D print some very cool tools with some very reliable stuff.
All right, give us a piece of life advice, Josh.
Don't trust the state. Don't say a damn thing to cops, ever.
Yep. Yes. On that
except
note,
for a lawyer.
Yes. On that note, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.